All right, let's talk some Kyler Murray. It should be an interesting topic of discussion, I think, because obviously he's been electric so far this season, and I think this week was kind of talked about as maybe a down week for him. You look at the scoreboard, only 17 points. That's certainly on the low side compared to what we've seen from him the past few weeks. His own statistical numbers, just 22 for 31 for 239 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. That's not bad or anything, but that's just not like spectacular either. But you guys know me. I don't really pay much attention to box score stats. I like to look at them, but it's way more, it'll tell you way more about a player when you actually watch the game, watch the All-22, and I thought he looked good. I think he had a pretty good game, in fact. There wasn't really any throws or any plays that I was like, ooh, bad job by Kyler there. Maybe 1 or 2, but for the most part, I thought he played well, and the San Francisco 49ers defense played well, so that's kind of why there, was only 17 points. It goes both ways. So yeah, let's get into the film and talk about what happened. So let's start things off with something like this. One of the things I value is how well do you just run an offense? Do kind of the simpler plays. Obviously, what we love about Kyler is the crazy big plays where he'll scramble out and throw 50-yard touchdowns. I actually value that more because that tends to be a way you can get points on the board that other quarterbacks can't. But I still do value this stuff a lot of how do you run an offense, and he ran the offense well, I thought. It's going to be a play action with Hopkins running over the middle. And watch how right when this play starts. So at this point, you see that there is a San Francisco player in between. Sorry, this is not Hopkins. This is A.J. Green, number 18, not 10. You see that he's currently about to get in a gap in coverage right here, but he's not there yet. But you look over at Kyler, he's in the throwing motion. This is just good timing. It's the quick, okay, you're open at this instant, well, I'm throwing it at this instant. There is no delay. There is no hesitation, which is what you need in the NFL. He does end up making this throw, and it's really perfect timing. It looks wide open, and the reality is, in the NFL, it is, but how many young quarterbacks do we see not be able to do this stuff? In fact, this was something that Kyler struggled a little bit with as a rookie, but he's gotten way better. And honestly, even last year a little bit, some of the over-the-middle stuff could give him some trouble. This year, I think a big reason why we've seen this step forward is he's gotten better at just the simpler stuff. He's always had the awesome, explosive plays, but now that he's getting better at this stuff is why we've seen him go from good player to MVP candidate. And also, there is stuff like this, where this is going to be just an explosive play. By the way, explosive means 15-plus yards, for those of you unaware. It's going to be man coverage, but what's interesting about this play is that you don't know exactly what's happening. You see both safeties are currently lined up deep. Either one of them could be staying deep. They could both be staying deep. This could be a cover 2, meaning both safeties are deep. It could be like a cover 1 robber, where one safety kind of covers the middle of the field. Or what's actually happening is this is a cover 1 blitz. It's actually a linebacker blitz. So all 5 San Francisco players who are at the line are all blitzing right here, all rushing the passer, I should say. And one of the safeties, the one who's currently lined up closer towards the bottom of the screen, he's going to pick up the halfback if the halfback is running a route. If not, he'll probably just hang out sort of over the middle of the field. But either way, he's not staying deep. This means that the one safety who is staying deep is currently lined up towards the top of the screen, which makes sense, right? Logically, that would be the safety you would want staying deep, given that there's 3 receivers on that side of the field and only 1 receiver on the other side of the field. I imagine that this is designed to where if there's 3 receivers to the offense's left, then the other safety would be the one staying deep. But where this gets interesting is that DeAndre Hopkins is running a go route on the bottom half of the screen. So obviously, if Kyler sees a one-on-one matchup there, that's a chance he's going to take. But of course, he doesn't know if that's the case. There could be a safety who is deep, making it not a one-on-one matchup, and he could still maybe make that throw, but he'd have to be a lot more careful about it. And watch how right when this play starts, so you see Kyler looked towards the safety and then looks over to Hopkins. So he notices the safety. That's the first thing he looked at, were the safeties, which is smart, because he knows on that play, that's just the one thing he has to figure out. He knew it was man coverage. The question was just, what kind of man coverage? What are the safeties doing? That was the question on this play. Now he knows. I've circled the current deep safety, and you see how far he is to the offense's right, how far he is towards the top of the screen. He's over the hash marks. So you look at Hopkins, who's very far away from that. This means that this is the true one-on-one matchup. The question, and maybe the concern you could have with this decision is, hey, how open is this, right? Hopkins isn't exactly dominating his one-on-one matchup at this point, but Kyler's in his own end zone. He has to get rid of the football. He can't hold on for too long. Kind of has to make a decision. So while someone might sit here and say, yeah, he's kind of just throwing it up there and hoping Hopkins does his thing, no, not really. He's actually making a very smart read of understanding that Hopkins has a one-on-one matchup, and he knows Hopkins can win these one-on-one matchups. Look at him make this throw. It is kind of a jump ball, and you could argue it's not even a perfect throw, but Hopkins can make those plays. And if you have a DeAndre Hopkins, if you don't throw him the ball in those situations, you're using him wrong. That's not getting bailed out by Hopkins. That's him using a tool he has correctly. Something like this was just absurd, quite frankly. So again, I talk about some of the more boring plays. Now we're going directly to some of the exciting plays. I actually had a little bit of a hard time understanding what coverage this is. I think it might be cover 0 actually, or a cover 1 blitz perhaps. It's a little bit difficult to read, so let me know if you guys figured it out. But what I do know is that there's a pick play going on. Hopkins actually is, I guess, a rub route, not a pick play. Hopkins is actually kind of the setup guy right here. He's trying to get Rondale Moore open. Kind of another thing I like about Kingsbury is he's not afraid to let Hopkins be a decoy. Watch how right when this play starts. So, there's that initial contact. You could have even maybe argued that should have been offensive pass interference, but I like the no call there. I think, Hopkins ran enough of a route. Typically, they don't call those, but every now and then this season we have seen them get called. So, kind of I'm more concerned with the NFL being a bit, inconsistent with some of their calls. I think that's not a penalty, though. Anyways, what's going to happen is that you see Rondale Moore kind of open, not really, and Kyler is off balance. Like, this is a play that 99% of quarterbacks don't even throw to because there's no chance of it working. Also, Hopkins is like wide open underneath, but Kyler's going to say, hey, let's take a chance to Rondale Moore. I mean, look at this. So Kyler's going to make this throw off balance. It's a pinpoint accurate throw, and Rondale Moore makes that catch. Also, what's crazy is, like, as a defensive back, you can knock it away out of bounds. In fact, if you're out of bounds and you just touch it, it's a dead ball. Like, just get out of bounds and touch it. Like, you're fine. So it just goes to show the absurd difficulty of that play, and Kyler was able to pull it off. Just an insane throw and an insane catch by Rondale Moore. And then lastly, something like this. So this is going to be another one of those sort of gunslingery type plays. And what's interesting is that we all kind of, after 3 weeks, said, okay, Kyler's this gunslinger type quarterback. Well, you look at like Pro Football Focus stats, which I know some people hate, but I don't really get why. They seem pretty accurate with some complaints I have, but that's going to be the case with everything. They've given Kyler 0 turnover-worthy plays in the past 2 weeks, which does kind of check out. Certainly this week, I did not see any play where I'm like, ooh, that could have been a turnover, even if he's thrown some 50-50 balls. And this is a good example. So it's going to be a cover 3 zone. You have a receiver who's going to be running a go route towards the bottom of the screen. Hopkins kind of runs over the middle. The hope is that the go route can take away the deep corner. When Hopkins gets all the way over, he will get open. So right when this play starts, what you're going to notice is that actually safety Jimmy Ward does a great job in this play. He reads it well, and he's covering DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler, also great job of getting outside the pocket. That's kind of just what he does. So at this point, you could sit here and say, well, okay, play didn't work out. Good play design, good try, Kingsbury, but hey, it's a good defense. They know what they're doing. Jimmy Ward read it out, made a good play. It happens. However, Kyler's sitting here and saying, well, wait a second. Jimmy Ward's a safety. He's going up against maybe the best wide receiver in football. I'm going to throw it to my guy. I'm going to take this chance because this is a good matchup. So watch how, he does make this throw, and Hopkins, he makes that play. You could argue, hey, Ward read it poorly, but that's part of why Kyler made the throw in the first place, because he knew Jimmy Ward is a safety who's going up against DeAndre Hopkins. So to me, that's a good decision, especially in today's NFL, where rules are, definitely helped helping out offenses, throwing the ball down the field, right, with pass interferences and stuff like that, where receivers can get away with a lot more than defensive backs can, although that didn't really come into play here. Take chances down the field. It's going to help you. The more you throw down the field, the more you win. Like, that numbers back that up. And so I like that Kyler will take those chances. So yeah, that's how I felt about Kyler. I thought that he was very good. I thought he did a lot very well. I know that there were some issues. I actually had a couple of negative plays in this video that I eventually cut just because I didn't like how it turned out when I was recording them, which I typically do on a lot of these videos actually. But just to kind of reiterate with that, I thought there was a bit of like, okay, first read not getting open, and then pressure coming quickly, especially pressure from multiple sides. Not a lot you can do there. Stuff like that happened. So that's kind of what caused it to be, have a little bit of a tough time at the beginning, especially with the running game really not working. That's kind of where the issues, I think, a lot of times arose. But as a whole, I feel like when Kyler had something, he was able to get something. So, yeah, that's what I thought about his performance. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.